got here with me Louise Davison from Rowansville College. She's from the East Waikato and has been working on this project for some time. She's year 13. Louise, can you run us through some of the ideas behind this project?
The original idea was to provide dairy animals with better drinking water so they can in turn boost their milk production. That was the idea back in third form. Then the next idea was to develop a way of cleaning the water, which I did by investigating different methods of treating water. I developed a way of having a remote cleaning, like a self-cleaning trough that maintained itself by using two different types of trough maintenance. One is a trough top, which is a big plastic black trough cover that stops fecal coliforms entering the trough and sunlight entering the trough, which also stops algae growth. Adding to this, I used UV, which deactivates bacteria so they can no longer reproduce. They can't reproduce, their breed can no longer remain in the trough. To produce UV, I had to use LEDs as they were low on power and they produce sufficient UV light. Adding to this, to power those, I put on a solar panel which powered my LEDs. The reason for this is just so we can keep the bacteria level down, algae levels down, and the fecal coliform levels down.
You did some testing involving that, didn't you?
Yes, I was able to show that bacteria and algae levels were lower after 2 weeks of the trough being used, and this is in a situation where the water wasn't actually moving. In a field situation, the water is moving as the cows are drinking it, and the water gets stirred around. So the UV will be more effective in this sense. I wasn't able to show that fecal coliforms were reduced as they would have stayed constant as there were no cows around at the time. For this part of the project, I investigated how my trough top if it would increase water consumption in a trial situation. So I had two herds. I split statistically based on their breed, age and milk production as of last herd test. They were completely identical herds. With these herds, I then separated them. One was labelled a trough top herd and they were delegated a trough top for 2 weeks, my design trough top, and the other one was control herd and they didn't have any extra form of trough maintenance, so it was just a standard trough. Originally this trial was planned for summertime at the beginning of this year, but because of the drought, not many farmers were very happy to run this trial at all. So I had to leave it for winter, which meant that cows were only drinking 10 litres, or would averagely drink 10 litres of water per day compared to the 54.5 they drink in summertime. However, during the trial we had quite a bit of rain, and the temperature didn't get much above 15 degrees, and all the cows were dry, so they weren't drinking much at all. Often it's been observed that cows drink out of puddles. However, I found that the cows with the trough top were drinking 3.5 litres more than cows without. Also it was observed that the cows with the trough top calved a lot easier when calving came around, which is a show of good health. The next part of my project, I'm really keen to test this trial and see if the water consumption does affect milk production. I'm hoping to run this in November when the cows are over their production hump, so they're levelling off their production amount of milk, and which I'll stay at for a couple of months. I'll probably run the trial for about a month to observe whether which herd production. The herds will be again split statistically using their breed, their milk production at the last herd test, and their age. After this, I hope to see that the water consumption does lead to better milk production, as I've already discovered it leads to better health.